What is going on, guys, and thank you so much for clicking on the video. Today we are now less than 2 days away from the launch of Assassin's Creed Origins, my most anticipated game of the year. And right now we're about 1 day and 4 hours away, so we're almost at that 24-hour mark, which is super exciting. You guys can expect gameplay on day one from me. It might not be commentary or anything like that, but it will be gameplay, and I'll probably be putting out some videos throughout my time playing it, and then finally my own kind of review on the game. I might have a friend involved on that as well. But about 3 days ago, I uploaded a video called "Why Was Assassin's Creed 2 Everyone's Favorite?" And see, it's kind of true. It is probably my favorite Assassin's Creed game overall. And today we're going to be looking over Assassin's Creed Brotherhood and Assassin's Creed Revelations. I'm not going to be going into super detailed analysis on both games. I'm just going to kind of give my opinion on the games, and you guys can take what you want from that. And let me know down below what you guys think of Assassin's Creed Brotherhood and Revelations. Let me know if they're some of your favorites or not. I don't know why I tried to climb this. I knew you couldn't, but either way, throughout this you will see me do some stupid ass parkour and combat. My skills are shitty, and it's been a little bit. I'd say one of my favorite things about this game is Rome and the combat in general. The combat was a little bit amped up, where you can now kick certain enemies because their defenses they can block a lot of your defenses, so kicking them kind of stuns them for a minute for you to kind of fight back without them actually just sitting there blocking you like a fucking asshole. Another thing about it is the story was actually pretty damn good. It's not as good as Assassin's Creed 2, but it's a good follow-up, and I think it continues Ezio's story very well. Rome is a beautiful, beautiful location to continue Ezio's trilogy, and to be his second game, and it fits well. Definitely not as good as as Italy in general, as they kind of did all that in his first game. I don't like it as much because it's just one giant city instead of you getting, you get Florence and you get Venice, and they just being able to fast travel between those two areas, it felt like there was more to do, and overall it was more pretty in my opinion, and I just enjoyed it better. But Rome is really a good setting, and I really do like it. Overall, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood is more like an Assassin's Creed 2.5, as I've listened to IGN say. But at the same time, it's not. The formula is still mixed up a little bit. The combat's a little bit better. It overall runs better. It just feels like a great Assassin's Creed game. Definitely one that you should play if you haven't played it yet. Keep in mind the Ezio collection is available to buy on next-gen consoles. It is definitely worth picking up. Still have a little bit more time of Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, and I want to go ahead and give off that one of their main marketing tools for Assassin's Creed Brotherhood back in the day was the recruiting of assassins. And I thought the recruiting of assassins was really cool, how you could rank them up and send them on contracts, and it gets you income, and they overall can help you in combat. When you rank them up, you can now have an arrow storm, and they will help you in combat if you get kind of smothered, because sometimes if you're not careful, you get a huge group, combat can be a little bit overwhelming. It's not difficult, it's cool to see them come in and step in and help you fight. It's really cool. My same rule still applies for this video. Every time I say or take a shot. But Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, definitely one of my favorites as well. Continues Ezio's trilogy, like I said, very well to be his second game. Revelations, we'll be getting into that very shortly. And I'm really happy with what they did. This helped. The game in a lot of places got a 9 out of 10, and I don't usually go by scorings. I go by my own gameplay experiences. I say it's about a 9 out of 10. Obviously it has its flaws. Like I said, the story, in my opinion, isn't as good as the second game. The locale isn't as good, but it is very great. And there's a lot of content here. You still have your assassin tombs, and you have that wolf cult, which is more of the main assassin tombs, where you go and collect these things. But you run these wolf-like people, or that dress up in like wolf skin, and it's really cool. It adds a new layer to the game. and there's overall like you have the Borgia flags, about as same as and boring as the feathers in Assassin's Creed 2, but with less motivation. Like some people want to collect the feathers to actually bring them back to Ezio's mom. In this game, there's not really much to do with the flags as far as I remember. It doesn't feel like there's much motivation to collect them. They're just kind of there, and that's fine for people who like collecting stuff like that. I don't care for it unless I'm trying to either platinum a game and they need you to do that, collect something within the game world or whatever. But overall, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood is really great. Now, on to Assassin's Creed Revelations, and honestly the biggest thing with me that I liked about Assassin's Creed Revelations was the hook blade, the introduction of the hook blade. And the thing with Ubisoft that I feel like they get wrong a lot of the times is they bring in these really cool weapons or items and then they get rid of them completely. Assassin's Creed Revelations, you were able to craft bombs and you had the hook blade. The hook blade was really cool when you're going around a corner. Instead of actually taking that lamp and going across the corner, you could just hold the hook blade and he'll just swing himself across, and that was really cool. That added some cool dynamic to the game, and it really helps Ezio in his older age, and it fits. It makes sense, you know. He's still a fucking badass, and people still look up to him, but he's getting older, so he needs that hook blade to help him maneuver around the world better, and also in combat. As far as I remember, this is probably the best the combat has been within Ezio's timeline and throughout the games. In my opinion, it's so fun. Like I said, the grappling hook, you have zip lines, and you can assassinate people through those zip lines in your hook blade, and it's really cool the amount of stuff. Now, as far as location and story, location I did not like. This whole Istanbul location, I didn't care for it. It wasn't fun to me. It didn't. I like kind of colorful maps and stuff like that, and where it feels alive, and the game's not depressing or anything. It doesn't really have a depressing tone, but it just definitely is the worst map out of Ezio's trilogy, and it's a little bit disappointing to be his send-off. But now we get into the story. The story is honestly really good. Like, I love the story here. It's a goodbye for Ezio, and it's his send-off. Now, obviously, I won't say any spoilers or anything like that if you have not had the chance to play it. Now, you should play the trilogy if you have not. I played this back on Xbox 360 as well, but I decided this was the only one out of the Ezio trilogy that I had not finished before Origins, and I just finished it a few days ago, and it feels good to be back. It felt good to play Assassin's Creed on that old engine playing as Ezio, but towards the end of the game, I was kind of slowly I was trying to rush through it. I was slowly getting out of wanting to play it, but I finally beat it and was so relieved, but I was so happy with it. The soundtrack in this game is beautiful. I love the soundtrack in Revelations. Definitely the best. One of the best soundtracks when you're just exploring and in cutscenes. It's really good. Little details that I really like in this game is you'll see Ezio randomly swing his sword around, just kind of flip it, spin it around, and there's little details like that, and he'll taunt them without you having to actually taunt like in Assassin's Creed 2. You'll see him like point at them and kind of spit at them, and it's really cool, just that it's automatically there, and it brings up the enemy's intimidation to want to attack you, and it's overall really cool. Revelations definitely has the best gameplay in general for any of that, and like I said, like the grappling hook here, it's really cool. Like certain enemies, that it actually hooks to them, and they kind of, some of the enemies I saw will hold onto your hook blade and then they kind of let go to start your fight. But it's overall really cool. Now you'll see me get my ass kicked kind of throughout, but Assassin's Creed Revelations is definitely not as bad as people say. Now that whole frontier defense thing where that everybody talks about now, it would have been a really cool mini game if they didn't put it in the campaign. I had a friend tell me that, so shout out to him for kind of throwing that to me. Now, in general, at first I didn't like it at all, and I'm not gonna lie, throughout this playthrough, I did it the one time that you really have to throughout the story, and that was it. It's not great, but it is a cool mini game. If this was still like the main Assassin's Creed of the year, definitely would be kind of fun to play just during the time while you're exploring the world. But as far as everything goes, Assassin's Creed Revelations is definitely one of my favorites. Not as good as Brotherhood or 2 especially, but for gameplay wise, this is where it exceeds the most or succeeds. But overall, I really do like it. You should all give it a try. Assassin's Creed Origins comes out in 1 day, basically, and I'm super excited. And I'll see you guys there. Peace out.